JZ Starcraft here with Game 2 of the clan war between Root Gaming, represented by the Yellow Terran of LZGamer, and Evil Geniuses. I'm sorry, I switched that up. Root Gaming, represented by Slush, the blue Zerg, and Evil Geniuses, represented by LZGaming. This was I think a friendly clan war match between Root and Evil Geniuses. And right now, I think in the last game, Slush took it with his macro dominancy and kind of psyched out his opponent by going the meatless, but then switching to pretty much all ground army right now too. So we'll see if LZGamer can have an answer for this. Right now, battling on Steps of War. This map has a very short rush distance for the Zerg player, and I think the Terran player can be prone to a lot of early harassment once those speedlings come out. And we'll see what Slush's build order is for this one. LZGamer are going to be trying to choke off his front right now, as the Lings can get there pretty quickly. We'll see if Slush tries to go for a fast expansion or just really tries to win it from the get-go. LZ throwing down his barracks and sending out his scout and also his potential hold off from getting this SAV harassed. Terran always has to worry about that to a certain extent and has to kind of waste one of their units. But no, Slush is going to be taking his 14. Looks like he's going to go 14 hatch, 16 pull yet again, and just going to be working on his macro. Meanwhile, LZ throwing down his refinery, probably at 13 standard build, 12 racks, 13 refinery, and I don't know. It might be interesting to see whether or not he's going to go for that mass Reaper attack too. This drone has been untouched the whole time. Meanwhile, LZ had to use his scouting SCV to kind of make sure that drone wasn't able to do much, but the drone still has full power. The Marine going to come out here, going to be able to do some significant damage. Slush with that later spawning pull, going to be trying pulling ahead and going to be working on his defense as much as possible. LZ could just push. He is just saving up, I think, for a factory at this point. Hasn't thrown down yet. Just going to throw down that factory. So maybe going to go 1-1-1 or going to be doing some early Hellion harass, but not going to be opting for the Reapers on this map. The rush distance doesn't, I think it's going to just take a little bit too long for him to get it out at this point, or maybe decided that last game Slush kind of anticipated it coming, so was able to defend against it, and ultimately LZ was a little bit behind because the Reapers kind of failed. 5 of them last game. Yeah, kind of the minerals he wasn't able to get any kills, I think, with those Reapers, so kind of just lost all of them for that particular reason. A reactor going down, so looks like he's probably going to swap these two. Going to go for some, and there's a lot of lag in the game apparently. Going to be swapping these two, so going to be using the Hellions to really push out. Slush's lucky Zergling just happened to run in there right at that time, sees what's going on, should be throwing down maybe what is that? Not a spore crawler, but some defenses. The spine crawler, that's right, or two at his base. I think he knows that these Hellions are going to be running in here, so let's see what his reaction is going to be. He does have, I can't tell, what is that? Is that one spine crawler at the ramp to kind of block off, and using the Queen and the spine crawler to block off the Hellions from coming in. The Hellions of LZ are going to be coming in here, and let's see what they can do. Not going to be able to get up that ramp. A great block by Slush to use his Queen to kind of hold it off. Going to be frying these unless these drones can really get out there, but the spine crawler is going up, so LZ does have two more Hellions coming out. Meanwhile, Slush is going to be running that spine crawler right over, knows that the Hellions are there, and LZ just kind of holding off, just kind of waiting for something to happen. Has his Hellions just planted here. Slush is going to take the risk and move, and going to use 2 drones instead to try to block off the ramp. But oh, great job by Slush. Brings off his Queen, swaps him with the drones to block off the ramp, and kind of pulls LZ out. LZ thought, that the Queen was there to block the ramp, and now not very happy with the lag. I assume a few spectators are going to drop out of here. And Slush saying that BNet is super slow, or maybe not. And everyone has been like, okay, there's a lot of random talk right now, probably pretty distracting, I think, to both sides. Slush thinking that it's BattleNet, and BattleNet could be the cause of it, but instead, LZ, oh no, Slush just was not. I think the timing of that was just a little bit off from Slush, and now LZ's just gonna be able to fry these drones. Just looking at the harvester count, you know, Slush was significantly ahead because he expanded early and was able to saturate both sides, but now with 6 Hellions in his base, this is not looking good for Slush. Just gonna get everything fried in here, and these Hellions are gonna stay alive for quite a while. They can outrun these. The Speedlings don't even have the speed upgrade, and they're just gonna dance around the perimeter. These Queens, once they walk off, are just gonna be really prone to attack, but not able to move around fast enough. LZ going to be taking the expansion of his own, and yeah, they're just going to run all circles around everything. Slush trying to throw up some defenses in his base, but just getting his probes fried, and it looks like LZ able to catch up and has fried just a whole bunch of them right now. LZ does have some defenses. Looks like Slush was trying to run out some forces, trying to counterattack a little bit, but those Hellions just still getting pumped out. It looks like just going to be throwing down a whole bunch of barracks and an armory. I think this is barracks, not barracki or barracks. Barraxes. Thought I saw something on that. So now going to be transitioning out of this Hellions. Looks like he's going to be going tanks for that ground army. And Slush right now, what does he have in production? Is going to be throwing down his Spire, but took a pretty big hit right there in his economy, and kind of is even right now with LZ. LZ going to be pulling ahead because of the mules. They can mine very quickly. So we'll see. Let's see. Yeah, the Thor's going to be coming down soon, and knowing that Slush is probably going to be going muleless like the last game. Does not have any other. Let's see. It's going to be throwing down a second hatchery. Needs to try to saturate faster, and needs to get his units out onto the field. So LZ doing a great job there. I think putting Slush into a situation where he's not entirely comfortable, and forcing him to build that third hatchery in his base without taking an expansion. He wants to really resaturate both of his bases. Knows that he is now behind an LZ, and never a good thing for Zerg to be behind a Terran player in the economy. Usually you want it the other way around. These mules are going to come in here, but there's a whole bunch of Marines, and I don't know why they didn't fire. I think they were just moving out from the rally point, but Slush just does not have enough, and LZ even prepared, has several missile turrets spread out all over his base. So Slush needs just a few more mutalisks to do some major damage. Going to be expanding his creep very well right now that he can kind of focus on kind of his macro game, and not so much the harassment. LZ going to be spending in a really weak SCV to kind of scout things, and boom, it's going to go down. Here comes the Mutalisk, going to be swooping around, seeing if they can pick off anything. Great placement of this Overlord by Slush, hasn't been picked off. Knows that LZ doesn't have any anti-air right now other than those Thors on the ground. I don't even know if he's built a starport right now too, but these Mutalisks are going to be waiting for their turn to attack. But right now, looking at the army count, LZ still a little bit behind in the army count. It's pretty close though, pretty even on both sides. And looking at the resources, spending wise, it looks like Slush is still up a bit, and now able to catch up now that he has spent a significant amount of time just kind of saturating both of his bases. But I think LZGamer, giving LZGamer the opportunity to just kind of mass up an army. LZ going to be opting for just a bunch of Marines and Thors this time. Not even going to be going tanks, and just going to go for that big Terran bio ball. Look at the army count right now. Things pretty even, and LZ just kind of waiting for that mass of units to push forward. Things looking pretty scary right now for Slush. Gonna be running out these speedlings. Gonna try to, and already has pushed his creep pretty much into the center of the map, and LZ is gonna be trying to get rid of this so that he can reduce some of the speed of the ground units. Right now, gonna be making some sort of push. Can't really siege on the ground, but maybe feels comfortable enough to just kind of move out and stop this creep from spreading. Wants it to retract a little bit. Maybe waiting for the creep to retract before he makes an attack. Meanwhile, it looks like Slush has gone, is gonna go mass roaches yet again. So, LZ's competition not really well suited for that. Doesn't, I think just looking at the unit count, doesn't have, oh, does have like a whole bunch of marauders. So, but right now 27 roaches from Slush, and here we go. Slush gonna be pushing, trying to take out that expansion. Might be caught off guard here. The meatless are kind of spread out, and the roaches do pop up, but I don't know if that's gonna be enough with everything out here. The stim bio ball of LZ gonna be enough to take everything out, and yeah, just I think that the army was just kind of caught a little bit off guard. A lot of units took a lot of damage before everything was initially out there, so unfortunately just a little bit of bad timing by Slush on that attack. And great job by LZ with the Hellions early, not giving up on that harassment, able to run in and really do some damage to his opponent. This time, I think anticipating that, you know, there were going to be those roaches out there, so getting a good composition of the Marine and of the Marauder. So this has been another broadcast by JCS. It looks like the game is tied 1-1 going into the third game, the ace match between the two. And I am signing off.